Historians Francis and Joseph Guise wrote about medieval life, including describing the village of Elton in the East Midlands of England. The village started long before William the Conqueror and is still around. The village paid homage to the Ramsey Abbey during the Middle Ages, using open field farming with the usual crops of wheat, barley, rye, oats, hay, and flax, plus the standard livestock of cattle, pigs, sheep, horses, and more. England was under Roman rule until the 5th century. Then the legendary Celtic King Arthur battled the invading Angles and Saxons, who ruled until invaded by William of Normandy, called the Conqueror after his successful victory at Hastings in 1066. Over the next couple of decades, the conquest was mainly complete and a French feudal system established. Knights stayed busy with fighting for kingly glory for the next half millennium, fighting in France or even Britain. William had an inventory of his lands done beginning in 1086. What did he own and how wealthy was he? This survey recorded 275,000 heads of household, probably a total population of up to 2 million people, and 13,000 places, which were mainly villages. The manors were listed and who held them as tenants in chief, which included bishops, abbots, barons, knights, and more. There were an impressive 5,624 mills, indicating substantial consumption of baked bread. The Domesday Book recorded the holdings of Aber, the abbot of Ramsey. Aber had about 1,200 acres of land with 20 plows, 2 mills for grinding grain, and a fulling mill for finishing cloth, and 179 acres of meadow. Most peasant cottages had a yard and garden. Houses were timber framed, stone was rare, with thatched roofs. There was a manor kitchen and bakehouse in separate buildings, a garden and apple orchard, dairy and cheese presses and churns, plus barns. Elton was one of 23 villages. Ramsey used an open field system, which meant relative autonomy for peasant farmers, including plowing, planting, growing, and harvesting. The abbot wanted rents and dues, plus output to consume and sell, including wool, cheese, and grain. The abbot's agents included stewards, bailiffs, and reeves. The steward could manage several manors. At Ramsey, at least 2 stewards were monks. The bailiff was an on-site deputy at the manor. The reeve was an on-site subordinate, usually a peasant supervising the serfs, including the plow team, livestock, collecting rents, and selling products. The most critical time was harvesting, when everybody, at least all the peasants, cut, stacked, carted, threshed, winnowed, and stored the grains, plus the other crops. The key ones were wheat, barley, oats, peas, beans, and rye. The Elton Dairy produced about 200 cheeses a year, mostly from sheep, with much of it going to the abbey. Butter was mainly sold. There was also flax, apples, and beeswax. The wool market continued to be growing, with merchants sending wool to Flanders, France, and Italy. The serfs lived in poorly built houses, often only a single room. A fire was in the middle of the room, vented with a hole in the roof, possibly with a makeshift chimney. The women did the inside work of spinning, sewing, cheese making, milking, brewing ale, and feeding livestock. They also helped with harvesting. Skip ahead almost 500 years to Henry VIII's dissolution of monasteries in 1536. That included Ramsey Abbey, with the monks allowed to convert to Anglicanism or be executed. Henry took the property and sold it to various temporary elites as feudalism was at an end. Unlike the Abbey, Elton survived and did fine. William of Normandy continued fighting to claim the entire British Isles while simultaneously possessing French lands and lusting for more. His descendants continued to lust for power and land. It's the Fighting Brits next time on Food History and Mystery.